Hi everyone. So now that you know how to find slope, today I'm going to teach you a way to graph using slope and what they call the intercept, the y-intercept. It's a lot easier and quicker than making the table, and you're going to say, why didn't she show us this in the first place? Well, because you had to figure out what slope is. So here we go. The slope-intercept form looks like this. You're going to have the y equals by itself mx plus b. Now m is going to be a number, and hopefully you understand from yesterday that m stands for the slope of the line. So if that was a 2, if this was y equals 2x, the slope would be 2. It's that easy. The b is what they call the y-intercept value. And that is basically where the line crosses the y-axis. So once you get an equation in this form, you know where it's going to cross the y-axis, that's a point, and you know the slope, so you'll be able to graph a line pretty quick. So check this out. First example, y equals 3x plus 4. So if we were going to draw a quick little set of axes here, doesn't have to be real big, label the y, and if you're going to go by ones, I'm okay if you don't label the graph with numbers. Whew, making it even quicker. So let's say we're going by ones, we don't have to label it. Now look at our equation. From what we just learned above, 3 is going to be the slope, and positive 4 is going to be the y-intercept. So what does that mean? That means this line is going to cross the y-axis right here. And what does a slope of 3 mean? A slope of 3, shoot, I'm going to go off the thing here, means you go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1, and put a dot. I guess we could go backwards, down 3, left 1, and put a dot. So that is going to be your line. And this is how I was checking your homework so quickly. It's because I knew this, and I could tell, oh, I kind of missed it. So this is the line y equals 3x plus 4. It hits at 4 and has a slope of 3. And that would be all you have to do to graph the line. Pretty nice. Let's try another one. Let's try y equals x over 2 minus 3. Now this one's a little trickier. So before we draw it, let's figure some stuff out. What is m and what is b? So m is the slope. So what number is attached to the x? Really, it's a 1/2 that's attached to the x. So I'm going to say the slope of this line is a half. And I'm going to leave it as 1 over 2. I think it's easier to graph that way. Let me try to zoom it here. And then the y-intercept, just watch out for that minus, because the formula says it's plus b. So this is like, you know, plus a -3. So the y-intercept is really -3. So if there's a minus there, you can consider that a -3. All right, so let's make the axes for this one. There's my y, and here is my x. I'm going to go by ones again, so I don't have to label them. So it's always start with the y-intercept. It's going to hit the y-axis at -3. So 1, 2, 3. Here it is. And it's going to have a slope of a half. So what does that mean? Remember, slope is rise over run. So that means I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Boom. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. And that will be my graph. So we're going to put arrows on it. we're going to label it y equals x over 2 minus 3. It hits at -3 and has a slope of a half. And there we go. Now, the only bummer is if you get an equation like this. Let's say I gave you 2x plus y equals, I don't know, 5. This is not in the y equals form yet. So before you figure out the slope and the y-intercept, you have to change it around so that we have just y equals. We did this before. Let's see if it comes back to you. So to get y by itself, I'm going to get rid of this 2x. So I'm going to subtract the 2x from both sides. Here it's gone, and I have y equals, that's what I wanted. Here, if you remember, we were writing the term with the x first. Now maybe you understand why. So that's a -2x and a +5. So if I was going to graph this, I would figure out the slope is -2 and the y-intercept is +5. So I could set up my graph. Here we go. Label it y. And here's my x. Okay, so for this one, the y-intercept is +5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where I'm going to start. A slope of -2. Maybe I'm going to write it like this. -2 over 1, right? That's the same. So a -2 means you go down 2 over 1. And guys, you should always be running. Remember, this is rise over run. Rise over run. You always run to the right. This negative number is really for the rise. So if it's a positive, you're going up. If it's a negative, you're going down, but you're always running to the right. Okay? So here I am, down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And here would be my line. And I would like it if you put the y equals mx plus b form on the line. So this is -2x plus 5. Because now I think you understand how easy it is for me to check it. I see this equation, I know it's got to hit at +5, I know what a slope of -2 looks like, and I can check very easily. All right, so that is how slope-intercept form is used. Your homework is going to ask you to graph some things. If it's already in the y equals form, you're good to go. If it's not, make sure you change it into the y equals and then just use the slope and the y-intercept. Now, could you use a table if you wanted to? Sure, but you don't have to. You can use the slope and the y-intercept. All right, good luck. Keep me posted. Email me with any questions. All right, see you later.